Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. I also do other stuff in my Discord. All these videos get posted on this subreddit right here. It's called DF Sports. I make updates with all the news that comes out. On slates like today and slates moving forward with teams tanking, you're definitely going to want to check it out. So yeah, and then you can ask me questions, stuff like that. Talk strategy with other people. It's a really great place to be. So yeah, and then if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can do so on Twitter at ToryLangley1992. So let's take a look at my lineup tonight. By the way, Discord link will be down below where I have in-depth content going over each slate. Player pools for cash, GPPs, cores for cash, GPPs. I also do XFL content. Already posted all of my XFL stuff for tomorrow, stuff like that. So yeah, just want to shout out like a lot of people in Discord. So we absolutely smashed today. Like smashed $1,000 into 4,000. Nice. What, second place there and a third place there. What, $10 into $150, 60 into 170. A little bink in tiers. I also give a tier score as well. 310 score there. What, $60 into 200. 380 into 700. He got the stack correction below. Nice bink there on FanDuel. Nice lineup there. People doing prize picks. Like I said, the bink. Nice cash there. A fourth place finish here. Good day here. Good day here. Little 12th place in the $100 single entry. Like absolutely insane stuff. So my strategy today was to leave as much room as possible for late news. I continue to say this. Leaving room for late news is the biggest edge in daily fantasy sports because if you have questionable players in the later games, the value that you're going to get is going to be much, much better the value that you would have in earlier games if you factor in ownership. So, for example, let's say, I don't know, who was a good value play early that got a lot of ownership? I don't know. Let's look at the top for like a good value play. Perfect example of this. Dennis Smith Jr. I thought he was a really, really good play. I actually had him in my lineup. I was jamming Dennis Smith Jr. I also had him as a core play, but and it's not a good example, but because I was gonna use Dennis Schroeder as an example and Shaden Sharp as an example, but they were popular. But you get the point. Joel Embiid with no Harden, 19%. Anthony Davis with no D'Lo, 14%. Tobias Harris with no Harden, 9%. So you get the point here. I hammered it home in Discord to say we're leaving room for late news. I didn't even I gave a core with all just late players, like at 7 p.m. And I said, just put players in your lineup in the late games, and we'll figure out the rest later. Once we got Charlotte news, I had Dennis Smith Jr. as a core play. I had Svi Mikhailuk as a core play. And then we got Dame ruled out, and that changed everything for me. Then I got off Dennis Smith Jr. I got on to Shaden Sharp, and then we also got D'Lo ruled out late, and then I got on to Dennis Schroeder, and then I told everyone Joel Embiid favorite spend up on the slate. Joel Embiid favorite spend up on the slate. I also really liked Anthony Davis, as you can tell. I played both of them. Also really like Sabonis. I think he did well as well. Those are my three favorite spend ups on the slate, outside of Dame, but he obviously didn't play. So massive, massive edge if you just be patient. Leave room for late news because you'll get plays that are phenomenal plays that should be lower owned than they should. Because if we got D'Lo news, say before lock, Dennis Schroeder would have been like 60% owned. He was an absolute smash, in my opinion, with no D'Lo. I just thought he was a nuke. And then Shaden Sharp with no Dame obviously was a smash. Svi Mikhailuk was a great value at flat min. Chris Boucher Everyone knew I was very, very high on Chris Boucher today. A lot of us played Chris Boucher in the Discord. And then Tobias Harris, I had him as a core play, and then I got off him once as a core play as news opened. But the core that I have for today was Shaden Sharp, absolute nuke, Svi Mikhailuk, nuke, Dennis Schroeder, nuke, and then so I had Ryan Archie-Dinacino as a core play. That might have been a mistake. I don't know. Maybe should have went with like a spend up as a core play, but I didn't know who I was playing. So and Ryan Archie-Dinacino was like probably going to be in my lineup regardless, so I just threw him in as core play. Should have probably a mistake. Probably should have went with one of the spend ups as a core play, but it's fine. Core absolutely nuked today. As you can see in Discord, we absolutely nuked the slate. So yeah, I talk about it all the time in Discord. What I like on the slate, what you can change, what news impacts what news, and then how to play each slate for GPPs. What I think like the edge is for each slate, stuff like that. Pretty good stuff there. So we have a nice little 5-game slate for tomorrow. Also, by the way, I didn't get the vaccine today because I go to my appointment. We had to change where I was getting the vaccine because the CVS I was going to in North Philly didn't have it, and randomly last minute. And then I go to, I don't know, I forget. We had to change it to Walgreens, and they say, nope, we have it for you. Your name's on it, no appointment. You don't have to sign up through appointment. I drive an hour away. Hour away. I get there. We don't have an appointment for you. You have to have an appointment. Oh. I leave. I'm already halfway home. The lady at the desk, I call. The lady at the desk then says, who told you that you need an appointment? We have your name right here for the vaccine. I'm like, dude, the guy that literally just told me I didn't have an appointment and that I need to reschedule. Just unreal stuff. So I have to go back tomorrow, drive an hour away again, because whoever was, I don't know who was working, but an absolute dunce. So no one runs worse. Just unbelievable stuff. Drove through the slums of Philly for no reason. So yeah, let's go over this 5-game slate for tomorrow. So Brooklyn at Miami. I mean, this game's pretty tough for me to get into personally, but once again, Brooklyn, they're going to play their guys pretty big minutes. Like you saw, that game didn't even go into overtime, I don't think. Pretty sure it didn't. Yeah, it didn't. So you're going to see it's tough spot, tough spot, but you're going to see massive minutes for Dinwiddie. You're going to see massive minutes for Bridges. You're going to see around 30, 35 minutes for Claxton. You're going to see 35-ish minutes for Cam Johnson. This dude, man, I don't even know what happened. Did he get into foul trouble again or get injured or something? Or did he just get benched? But I think we get like 35-ish minutes for Cam Johnson. Royce O'Neal, 25 to 30 minutes. But yeah, I think in this spot, they're more contrarian plays to me. I still definitely do have interest in all 4 of the main Brooklyn guys here, just because they're running such a tight rotation right now. If I had to rank them, it would be Dinwiddie 1, Bridges 2, Cam Johnson 3, Claxton 4, but that's not a strong lean. I just know Dinwiddie, Bridges are at the top for me. I do like the price on Bridges. Tremendous ceiling. I think Dinwiddie is the higher floor, kind of the same ceiling play, so that's why I do prefer Dinwiddie to Bridges, but I think they're both good GPP plays even in this matchup, just with the rotation they're running right now. More contrarian plays, but I think they are definitely firsely in play. Like I said, Royce O'Neal will play, 25-ish minutes. I think 5K does seem about right for him. Dorian Finney-Smith, 20-ish, 25 minutes, a playable value at 4-3, but I mean, I feel like we'll have better value pending some news, like in that Milwaukee game, possibly the Bigs in Phoenix. So, but he's a playable value, Dorian Finney-Smith, he is, but he's kind of a guy that does need the minutes to get there, so not a splendid value that you want to be going out of your way to play, but I'm fine with him. Possibly at a weak power forward position. I haven't looked. I guess it's not weak. Not weak at all. But perfectly okay with them. I think I'd rather play like Kevin Love for the same price, basically, or cheaper. So yeah, but definitely in play. Darren Sharp's been getting the backup 5. I mean, if we keep getting 14 to 15 minutes from him, he is in play for value. Good point per minute guy. Um, so just thought I'd mention him for larger field tournaments. Miami. So once again, not the best spot here. Butler's been on an absolute tear. I have no issue if you want to keep riding this hot streak. Butler's not a guy that I usually play, but I definitely do have a lot of interest on a 5-game slate. I think Bam Adebayo really stands out to me at 7-5. Brooklyn's been getting, I believe, pretty torched by bigs. I know I've been targeting Brooklyn a lot against bigs. You're gonna see massive minutes for Bam Adebayo here. So I think 7-5 for Bam in a pretty good spot is just too cheap. So Bam does stand out to me quite a bit. Tyler Herro, is just there for me. Has a floor. Does have a ceiling as well. So no issue with Tyler Herro, but I think I would just much rather pay the extra $800 for Bam Adebayo. Caleb Martin, Kyle Lowry, if they're both in, I'm probably just going to stay away from everyone else outside of Kevin Love. I think Kevin Love's a decent value play. Not a lot of value on the slate. Good point per minute guy as well. Probably plays around 20 minutes. Yeah, I think Kevin Love on this slate is a pretty good value play. Kyle Lowry himself, if he plays, I mean, with not a lot of value, I'm perfectly okay with it. But every time I play this guy, every time I play this guy, Caleb Martin, kind of the same thing. He'll play, 30 or so minutes. Does have a ceiling if he's hitting his shots. Playable. If they're both out, you're probably going to get more minutes for like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, maybe some Oladipo. They would definitely be playable for value. So yeah, but I'm mainly looking to like Kevin Love and then possibly like Kyle Lowry. But I know it's such a frustrating roster. But the price is down to 4K. So yeah, but Bam, Butler, main targets for me on this team, and Kevin Love. Let's move on to the Milwaukee Bucks. So not a good matchup here, but Giannis in play on a 5-game slate. He's always going to look good. He's been involved in blowouts every day. I would think that Denver would keep this game competitive. So yeah, Giannis is always going to be a top spend up for me on pretty much any slate. So yeah, like Giannis, Drew is solely going to depend on Middleton for me. If Middleton is out, then I do like Drew at sub 8K. I think he should be like an 8 to 8.5K player. Even with Middleton in, but with Middleton out, he should definitely be around that price. So, going to depend on Middleton news for me with Drew. I don't know if we'll be playing or not. If he's in, then Drew. Secondary play, the value secondary plays. So it would mainly just be Giannis at the top for me if he is in. If Middleton and Crowder are out, then I think Pat Connaughton's going to be one of the chalkier value plays on the slate. I think he would look like a very good value on this slate. I think Ingles would be in play. Grayson Allen, I think, would be one of the more popular value plays on the slate as well. I haven't fully looked at the value on the slate, but I would assume I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of value. So if those guys are out, then yeah, Connaughton looks like a good value. Grayson Allen, I think, would be okay to solid. And then I don't think I'd be going to anyone else. I will say if Middleton's out, you could take shots on Bobby Portis at 5'7", who I think would play, I don't know, 25 to 30 minutes. No issue doing that. So yeah, interesting play there, but not a lot of value. And I don't think I'll be going to anyone else. So let's move on to Denver. So, I mean, it's a tough spot, but Jokic 11-3. I know he's been up and down of late, but I always, it's kind of the same thing with Giannis. Like, I'm always going to like Giannis no matter the matchup. I'm always going to like Jokic no matter the matchup. So I do like Jokic. Milwaukee has been pretty bad against opposing point guards. So Jamal Murray at 7-6, I do think is a good tournament play for me. MPJ, Gordon, they're just safe plays. Like, I'm okay if I land on one as the last man name, but they seem a little bit, sorry guys, overpriced or priced about right. Even though MPJ has been playing very, very well of late, but seem priced about right. Okay with them as last week's ends. KCP, you guys know his role. Has to hit the shots to reach value. He's playable. He's playable. Bruce Brown, we also know his role. 25-ish minutes. I think he's a solid value on the slate. I once again think he'll probably pick up some ownership tomorrow. Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry, guys. So, yeah. Like Bruce Brown, KCB is playable, and then I like Jokic, I like Murray. Let's move on to Philly. So, James Harden, I don't think will be playing. I'm pretty sure he won't be playing here. But if he's in, then it's just Embiid, who I think looks good, and then Harden will be playable, barring no limit. I would be off everyone else, but if Harden's out, then Embiid looks great to me. No one's going to be able to stop him on what Biyombo, Jock Landale. Pretty sure Aiton's out, so yeah, Embiid looks great. I like him either way, but he would look even better if Harden's out. Then we can get to the secondary guys. Then I like Maxey. Then I like Tobias Harris quite a bit. Then I think Melton's a solid play. And then I don't know what the bench rotation was tonight. Let me take a look. I should know this because this is my team, but yeah, then I think Shake Milton, probably plays around 20, 25 minutes. Maybe that's a bit much. Like 18 to 22 minutes. I think he'd be firmly in play for value. So yeah, would really like this Sixers team if James Harden is out. On to Phoenix. So KD, Ayton, both out. I think Booker's in play. I think I prefer the other spin ups. I don't really like the game environment here too much for Booker. Chris Paul's 7-2, I think, is a pretty safe play at this price tag. Does seem a bit too cheap. Okogie, no, seems about right. Suns get blown out tonight, too. I'm pretty sure they did. No, they didn't. Terrence Ross had a massive game. Scored 30 points, and they still lost. They're playing TJ Warren. Pretty sure Bismack got into massive foul trouble. I don't know, though. I mean, he's reasonable. Torrey Craig, just another. I feel like will have better value, but playable. I do like both the centers. So Bismack, Jock Landale, I think they kind of split the center minutes here. I prefer whoever's just lower owned. Or if you think Biyombo gets into foul trouble, just go Jock Landale. Or like if Biyombo's going to be like twice the ownership of Jock Landale, I'll just prefer Jock Landale. Or if Jock Landale's twice the ownership of Bismack, I'll just prefer Bismack. Like I'll just go to whoever's lower owned. But I think they are solid values on a slate with not a ton of value here. If you want to go to Terrence Ross, I mean, be my guest. It's chasing. It's 100% chasing, so I probably wouldn't do it. All right, so on to Utah. We could have Sexton back, I believe. So a lot of news to keep an eye on here. Markkanen, I would assume, will be back. Clarkson, I think, not entirely sure. If everyone's in, I think this team is a cross-off for me outside of Lauri Markkanen himself. If we get Clarkson out, Markkanen in, then I like Markkanen still. I probably wouldn't get to anyone else. I think everyone would be a little bit overpriced. If we get a situation where Markkanen and Clarkson, and then obviously Sexton and them are out, then yeah, in a good spot. I like Talen Horton-Tucker. I like Kelly Olynyk. I think Abadji seems priced about right. Fontecchio at 4.6 had a massive game tonight. He would be okay. An okay value. Might go a bit over owned from the performance tonight, but would be fine with him. Walker Kessler, he just seems priced about right to me regardless. But I think the main targets for me would be Talen Horton-Tucker, Kelly Olynyk, and then Fontecchio, the Olympic Italian GOAT. I don't think I'd be really going to anyone else. So Sacramento, Fox, I believe, will be out tomorrow. So we'll see. If he's in, then I like Sabonis in a really good matchup. Like, he might be one of my favorite spin-ups on the slate in a phenomenal spot. I like Fox's ceiling. And then you guys know with everyone else healthy, like, one guy will have a good game, one of the wings, one will get benched, one will have a mediocre game. Fox getting hurt, you saw Kevin Huerter absolutely explode. But they would all be just there for me. Kevin Huerter is always my favorite because he is the highest ceiling between the three. So they would all be pretty similar to me. So would prefer Huerter of the bunch though. But if Fox is out, then there is a lot to like here. Then I really like Sabonis. then I think Kevin Huerter would be. I would really like Kevin Huerter at 5-4 if Fox is out. Barnes gets a boost. He would be okay to solid. Keegan Murray gets a boost. Solid. Davion Mitchell probably starts at the point. He would be a good value. Even though I will say he has struggled in the past with Fox out and starting, so he's be a little careful there, but he would be a good value. Malik Monk doesn't get a guaranteed boost in minutes, but I think there would be a better chance for him to play more. Would like his ceiling quite a bit. I'd assume he'd pick up a decent bit of ownership. So yeah, keep an eye on the Fox News. That's going to change the entire slate. Like I said, I would really like Kevin Huerter, like Sabonis regardless, but like pretty much all the wings, and then Davion Mitchell, and then Monk. So that changes the entire slate. Let's move on to the Pelicans. So still no Zion. We have Trey Murphy questionable. Let me just pull up the depth chart. Okay. So, not a good spot here, but I think Ingram, CJ are good contrarian plays. You guys know I was very, very high on Brandon Ingram last slate. He absolutely nuked, so yeah. Even at these prices, I think they're fine for tournaments. Don't stand out to me, but fine. I still really like Jonas Valanciunas. The Nance injury, I think Jonas Valanciunas has been playing phenomenally. I think they're just going to keep riding him, so he's still too cheap for the minutes he's playing. So him, really, really like. If I just decide between Bam or Jovel, I might lean Jovel, but I think both are great plays. Trey Murphy's, if he's in, is overpriced. Same with Herb Jones. Can't go to Larry Nance with his injury. Trey Murphy's out. I assume Josh Richardson would start. If he does, he would be a very good value at 4-2. And then might get more minutes for guys like Najee Marshall, who I think is playable regardless. Good point per minute guy that can stuff the stat sheet, stuff like that. So, yeah, keep an eye on Trey Murphy news. Real standard here, definitely going to be Jonas Valanciunas, and then possibly Josh Richardson. I don't know if there's been a situation in the past where the acquired players in Trey Murphy have been out. So I would assume it'd be Josh Richardson. I could be wrong. On to the Clippers. So no Paul George. You're going to expect a massive, massive role here for Kawhi Leonard. So I still like Kawhi Leonard a lot, even at that price tag. Westbrook, going to get a boost as well. Unfortunately, the blowout killed him, but like Westbrook quite a bit. Zubac, kind of ceiling play. Was on pace to play around 30 minutes. I think he's a good tournament play. I think, Jovel's going to get a lot of ownership. I think Bam might get some. I don't think anyone's going to play Zubac, so that makes him a good tournament play by default. Eric Gordon didn't do much in Paul George's absence, but no issue with him. I think he seems like a pretty safe play at 5-2. And then the game blew out, so you saw more run for like Bones Highland, Terrence Mann. Batum barely played, even though he got some blowout run. I don't know if he would have closed. Robert Covington was a DNP until the blowout, so yeah, I think Morris is okay at 4-6. I still don't understand why they're playing this guy. It just doesn't make sense. Man at 5-1 just seems right, about right. I will say though, Man has a higher ceiling than pretty much everyone in this range. Like he has a higher ceiling than Gordon. He has a higher ceiling than Morris. He has a higher ceiling than Batum. He will play less, but does have a higher ceiling. I don't know how many minutes he'll play if the game stays close, so maybe like 18 to 20. So, could be wrong there. I don't really pay attention to the Clippers too much or watch the Clippers, so that's probably going to have to look at projections tomorrow, see what the industry thinks on how many minutes he's going to play. But looking at Quad, looking to Westbrook, looking to Zubac, and then possibly like Marcus Morris, Eric Gordon, possibly Man, possibly Batum. So yeah, hope this video helped you guys out, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.